In this vintage year, it is young wine against old spirits. Lendl has won 11 tournaments in 1982. Connors has won Wimbledon. Connors has beaten his Czech rival 8 times. Lendl demolished Connors 6-1, 6-1 3 weeks ago. As strange as it sounds, Connors, once the wild child of the international tennis circuit, has become a grand old man. And at age 30 is being challenged by a player 8 years his junior, who all year long was almost invincible. But Jimmy hasn't won this title in 4 years, and he's going for it in a big way.
But so many people talked to me today when we got here saying, we're really sort of sorry that John lost. We wanted to see him in the finals. And there are a lot of people that are sorry that he's not in the finals. This should be a great one, though.
Love 15.
I don't care how many times you've been here or how many tournaments you've won. You have to be a little tight right now.
Strange thing about the record of these two players, the 9 times that they've played, the first 9 times, Jimmy Connors won in straight sets, never lost a set. And the last time they played, Lendl won 6-1, 6-1 in straight sets. Not too much should be taken to the fact, though, that Connors won the first 8 matches, because at that time Lendl was just coming onto the circuit, and he has only been around about 3 or 4 years.
30-15.
Definitely some nerves, Tony, on Lendl's part. His feet aren't moving very well at this stage. And
he didn't make a very good swing at that one. He just sort of blocked the backhand, just trying to float her back deep.
And those of you who've been watching the Packers and the Rams, welcome to U.S. Open Tennis. This is the first game of the first set. It is 40-30 with Connors serving.
You know, Pat, you talk about nerves, opening games. Chris Everett-Lloyd admitted that she was very tentative in the first set yesterday of her final and her victory for her 6th title. And you know she's been around quite a bit.
That was the shot that Lendl was really able to penetrate in their last meeting, taking the pace off the ball with an undersliced backhand to Connors' forehand.
Advantage Connors.
Connors really stayed down well on that volley. It wasn't that easy a volley. Not as easy as it looked, that's for sure.
Few shots are as easy as these people make it look.
They do hit the ball pretty hard, don't they?
Perfect lob. You want an interesting play from Lendl too, Tony. Do you think that he played that little short slice ball, making Connors come to the net? That was a deliberate attempt to bring Connors in on the attack.
It was short and low, and Jimmy had to let go of one hand. He couldn't hit the two-hander like he normally would.
Advantage Lendl.
Great point for Lendl.
Very, very hot and humid. Temperature was over 100 on the court yesterday, and I think it's hotter today.
Hughes.
Another look at Connors taking advantage of the short ball. He gets it high, driving it down into Lendl's court, deep with pace, closing in the net. Lendl's attempt at the backhand cross court failed. So we come back live at deuce. I think we're going to see a lot of that. If Connors gets the short ball, he's going to be coming in, particularly if it's high enough. He'll really crank it. If it's low, he'll try to just place it deep and get into a good volleying position. Another break point for Lendl.
And that's the type of game Lendl would like to develop. Longer baseline rallies. He hits the ball with topspin from the back of the court, and less chance of him making the first error. Connors wants to hit 5 or 6 shots and set himself up for the short ball so that he can attack, finish the rally.
Broken serve.
And so he wins the first game of the first set of the men's finals. Not a very satisfying or impressive way to begin things. Double fault.
Tony, do you expect Connors to step in on Lendl's second serve, try to really thump the return?
I think it depends on what Lendl tries to do. I don't think he's likely coming in much behind the second serve. That serve almost hit the baseline. It was so long. I think Jimmy will try to do what he can off the second serve. That return to serve we were speaking of, as Connors gets to triple break point. If he returns Lendl's first serve that effectively, it's going to be tough for Lendl.
Those of you who watched the Eagles and the Redskins, welcome to the U.S. Open of 1982. This is first set action. Yvonne Lendl won the first game, breaking Jimmy Connors. And also those of you, as Lendl fires the service ace, those of you who watch the Bears and the Lions, welcome to the U.S. Open. Break point still.
We have a speed gun that'll clock some of these serves. The approximate time of that last serve was 108 miles an hour. That is a jug speed gun.
Lendl gets even very quickly. Deuce.
Marvelous to have that kind of a weapon. Wide. Break point for Connors.
Another of what seems to be limitless sellout crowds. There you see the magnificent tennis center stadium. All the way to the top, it's full, it's deuce.
And you got quite a few sitting in the aisles on the steps as well.
Wherever they could sit.
Fifth break point in this game for Connors. Very weak swing at that forehand, Nuke.
It was, and that's that short ball that you and I have talked about, Tony, that doesn't bounce very high and makes Lendl move forward, play off the front foot out near pace. Doesn't seem to like it off the forehand or backhand, but not too many players give it to him.
Just did something that McEnroe was unable to do all day yesterday. Break Lendl's serve.
I have to feel that was a very important game for Jimmy Connors, because coming off their last match, and I know this is an entirely different situation, the final of the US Open, but Connors led 40-15 in the first game and dropped it. Led 40-11 that game and nearly dropped it.
There's our boss. Boss of all of us. Mr. Haley.
Lendl standing way over to hit a forehand. He's saying to Jim, you're going to have to ace me up the middle of the second serve. I'm going to... Jimmy got into his body.
They wailed it out. And Connors takes a 2-1 lead in the first set.
Connors leads 2-1.
It is 2-1 Connors with Lendl serving.
Great point.
It sure was. They threw everything they had at one another, but there was a really bad line call in that rally right there. Lendl didn't even play that ball. Great topspin lob at the end. Tony, that looked like it was about 3 inches out.
It did look like it was out, but it happened very quickly as Lendl was sort of half volleying it right as it came off the court. He still won the point, 15 love.
Good lesson there, Trey. Keep playing.
You bet. You keep playing, and then worry about the call afterwards.
The big thing about that first long rally we saw was that they threw every type of shot at one another. Slow one, slice, topspin, short, long. It's a real sort of probing rally.
Power tennis at its best.
Connors is doing one thing that McEnroe seemed to be a little afraid to do yesterday, and that's drive the backhand across court to Lendl's forehand side. Lendl is so powerful off the forehand that a lot of players are scared to play it.
40-15.
Pretty big serve there. 108 miles an hour approximately. Never won a Grand Slam singles title. He was in the finals of the French last year and lost to Borg.
I tell you what, though, at 22 years of age, you want to bet he's never going to win one?
Replay the point.
Lendl is going up for a word now with the chair umpire, Jay Snyder.
I really thought that ball was out. I thought it was a good call, the first one he made.
Even close to the line and fire.
Corrected himself.
Yeah, but you can overrule, and you know that it wasn't even close.
Too close for me to change, right?
Ron said you can overrule.
It wasn't even close.
It wasn't even close. That's right.
It was just like the one before. That
Looked about the same.
about 2 or 3 inches out.
They'll replay the point. That's the weather conditions. 85 degrees hotter on the court, of course. Humidity 39%. And winds of 7 miles an hour. Inconsequential, really.
So humidity down from yesterday, which could help Connors, but it is boiling hot on the court. I sat out in one of the boxes during the mixed doubles for a while, and boy, it's really hot.
One other thing that might benefit a little bit is that there's a cloud cover now that was not around earlier. First point as they're replaying in Game 5. Love.
I wonder how that base linesman feels. That made that call a while ago. It's only 2-all in the first set, and he's got to be a little unsure whether he's made 2 mistakes or not.
They do a terrific job overall, and I think they deserve a lot of credit. The lines people here are awfully good.
Love.
Love game to Connors, and he leads 3-2 in the first set. Louis over New Orleans 21-7.
15 love.
Few surprises there, Patrick.
Oh, I'll say. And Atlanta beat the Giants 16-14.
Yeah, don't cry now. You haven't been with him for a long time.
My spirit still.
Did they wear those soft helmets when you played?
Can't you tell?
I know they didn't wear face masks.
15 all.
That's how you get off the defensive right away. This return on the big serve by Lendl. A short return. Now here comes Jimmy.
30.
Lendl makes a good lob here. See Connors backs out, jumps behind the service line, and smashes a winner. Come back live at 15-30. Lendl serving 2-3 in the first set. Best of 5-set men's final. Clean winner. Lendl has not been playing with the reckless abandon that he has shown us during the rest of this tournament, and probably just because it's a little tight.
The other guy's playing pretty well.
Break point.
Sorry, Empire, this is getting too much. This is the fifth mistake I feel against me in this match.
The machine called it a fault. The linesman called
That did look like a fault.
That's the second double fault for Lendl.
Break point Connors.
You'll see the good deep approach.
Yeah, Tony, there's one thing about this rally that is very interesting. I have no doubt in my mind after watching the first 6 games that one of Connor's game plans is to go to Lendl's forehand. He's going wide on that forehand. I think we've mentioned it on the TV before. You brought up the point that Lendl hits the forehand better when he's moving across to his backhand side, and Jimmy's bringing him out wide on the forehand, and that's setting him up with some short balls.
And when Lendl hits the forehand cross court, he doesn't have the pace on it. He has more topspin on it. You're told the paid attendance is 18,794, and I'm sure there's at least 2,000 more than that in this stadium.
At least.
That's the one we're talking about. Jimmy driving the ball wide across to Lendl's forehand. And I don't know whether it's going to continue for the match, but he's certainly making some mistakes off it so far. I think we're going to find out how good Lendl's forehand is today.
Looks like he might test it a little bit. But he has.
You know, as you reflect back, when Jimmy misses approach shots, he seldom misses them long. He usually misses them in the net if he misses them. He doesn't have much topspin on either side like that. Skims the top of that net. See, 3-time U.S. Open champion. And that is unique in that he won once on grass at Forest Hills, once on hard true at Forest Hills, which is a slow composition surface, and once here on Deco turf. So I doubt that anyone will do that.
30.
As you've said so many times, great players can play on any surface.
If you're going to call yourself a true champion, I think you should be able to win on all of them. (30-15). Talk about power tennis. You saw it right there.
I don't think if you hit the ball any harder than Lendl hit that forehand.
Or Jimmy hit the two-hander back at him when he missed a volley.
Connors leads 5-2 first set.
Men's singles final. Jimmy Connors leads Ivan Lendl 5-2 first set. Connors says he likes to play in New York. I'm sure he likes to play everywhere. He wouldn't play as well as he does, but he says these fans are nuts and so am I.
Yeah,
so we get along fine.
He gets them going too. Lendl serving with new balls. That 5-2 lead is just one service break, so when you're behind, you say hold serve and try to get the break and hold, and I'm even.
Love.
Connors' ball was wide.
It wasn't a bad return, though, was it?
Look at that first serve percentage, 80% against 38% for Lendl. And I'll never forget what the great Don Budge told me years ago. He said when he went out to start serving his first service game, he never did serve the first server too hard all his might, because if it didn't go in, there is Don and his wife Lori. If it didn't go in, he said it might take me a set or so to get the groove on that serve. He liked to spin a couple balls in, get the feel, relax, and then increase the tempo and the pace. If he saw Jimmy whiff that one, he probably won't want to sign him up, huh?
He was here looking at Vilas.
A few rallies like that, and if Connors was having trouble yesterday with cramps, it's going to take it out of him if it goes into a long match. He was really stretching then.
Changing direction.
Yeah, that would have really taken it out of his legs and his back. Changed direction about 4 times during the one rally.
That serve was approximately 110 miles an hour on her speed gun.
Whoa.
40-15.
Not a bad return.
No.
Came back twice as hard as the serve. Did we time the return?
Winner by Lendl. 5-3 in the first set.
Connors leads 5-3.
You know, there's a little psychological battle. So that attendance
Total attendance is phenomenal, isn't it?
Yeah.
Keep getting bigger and bigger. I think it was 90,000 the first Open in 1968 over at Forest Hills.
I think that's correct.
Little psychological battle going on down there at the moment, which I'll mention after this point.
Connors will serve.
Nice lob, plenty of air.
Good defensive lob.
It's been 2 or 3 times during this first set when Lendl has missed key shots on the forehand. Jimmy has given him a long look as if to say, well, ha-ha, now I know I got your weakness. And that last game when Lendl hit a forehand winner down the line, he gave Connors about a 5-second look as if to say, no more.
Taking a little more time now, a little more deliberate.
Capacity crowd loves this. This is a stretch two-handed volley.
Both feet off the ground, able to cut it back cross court. Patty Connors, Jimmy's wife, anxiously watching. Jimmy serving at 15-30, but he leads 5 games to 3 in this first set. Good chance here for Lendl to get back in it. Lendl did miss those kind of shots when he played McEnroe.
I think Jimmy's putting just a little more on his approach shots. They're coming through a bit faster, and he's getting into good net position. Ball skidding through.
Staying a little lower.
But still the same thing. Connor's not frightened at all to attack Lendl on the forehand side.
Set point for Jimmy Connors.
Well, that was some shot. That ball jumped up sort of away from him a little bit.
He had both feet off the ground. 40-30. Connors leads first set 5-3. To Connors.
You know, so far, I think Lendl's been playing scared As dominant as he was in his match with John McEnroe, he is playing in a tentative fashion and sort of scared. He's not going to get it done.
Why would he be scared?
Because the guy he's playing beat him 8 out of 9 times.
I think that's a factor. Huh?
I think so. Triple break point for Connors.
Action has begun in game 2 of the second set. Connors missed his first serve. Just putting on the glasses and clapping now, Phyllis George Brown, First Lady of Kentucky, and just in front of her, Diane Sawyer, CBS News.
I did the morning news, Pat, last week, and I asked Diane, I said, what time do you have to get up to do this? She said, 3 o'clock. I said, that sort of mess up your social life. She said, would you believe kills it? Can you imagine getting up and doing that? Of course, you did it, didn't you?
Yeah, I did it for a year and a half.
Bother your social life at all?
Absolutely, it did. I was not the same person.
Lendl completely surprised by the effective shot by Connors.
I think it's the power of Jimmy Connors and how well he's playing that's upsetting Lendl. You can see how far behind the court he is, but not only did he get the ball down low, he hit it firm from that position.
Second set, 2-love.
Jimmy's right on top of things, isn't he? Takes that ball early, moving it around the court. He's using the entire court. And Nuke, as you said, he's not afraid to go into Lendl's forehand. He's mixing it up awfully well.
Yeah, right now and during that first set, I think Connors just played too well for Lendl and produced some tactics that perhaps Lendl was not looking for. The one thing that has been letting Lendl down is his very low first serve percentage, and the few first serves he has got in, Connors has just rocketed the returns back, so maybe that's causing Lendl to try to overserve, trying for too much.
And Lendl's made a lot of unforced errors, 16 off the forehand so far, 6 for Connors.
Lendl's got to decide that the way Connors is playing right now, if he just stays on the baseline and rallies with Jimmy, Jimmy's going to run out this set. Lendl's have to go on the attack himself.
That's the only time that Lendl's beaten Connors in Cincinnati ATP final.
That was decisively.
That was a blowout.
You two guys saw that, didn't you?
We did. We did the match. It was 6-1, 6-1. Jimmy was never in.
Once again, Lendl playing a very good shot and then looking for a weak return. And Connors coming back. There's something at Lendl. See Lendl just standing over there. He didn't think that Jimmy was even going to get to that ball. Not only did he get to it, but he put back a great shot.
You know, Jimmy said he's 30 years old now, and he said, I think some of these New York people feel sorry for me. See an old man like me running around the court like that.
He also said, I don't play like 30.
Yeah, you're right.
Lendl's 22.
Jimmy said a lot of people get my age and they sort of start losing to people they shouldn't lose to, and that has not happened to me. And he said, I think I can be #1 again.
Well, he's won Wimbledon. Game goes to Lendl, and it's 2-1 Connors in the second set. 2-1 Connors in the second set. He won the first 6-3, and Jimmy will serve.
Regardless of whether Jimmy Connors wins or loses this match, he will be #1 on the ATP computer. Lendl will be 2, and John McEnroe has slipped to 3, and Vilas will be 4.
Top 4 seeds in this tournament. That, by the way, the man making those calls is a different linesman than the individual who began. You might recall Lendl made a couple of visits to the umpire, and they made a change.
Interesting shot, Tony.
The miss.
The miss,
He
yeah.
sort of straightened up as he hit that ball. He was bent down nicely, and just as he hit it, he sort of straightened his leg. Ended up hitting the net. You bend down to hit that ball. I think you got to stay down there throughout the stroke.
It's a shot that Jimmy hasn't made many mistakes on during this match so far, but it's one that has plagued him in the past on certain occasions.
Connors really moved well to get up to that volley.
We'll watch him close in now when he gets the opportunity to start to the net. Here he comes. Now watch him as that ball's chipped high and short. He keeps closing in, going forward. Got that ball as high as he could over the top of the net and really crunched a forehand volley. So Lendl will be serving at 1-3. In trouble.
Connors won the first set, 6-3. Jimmy's really working hard.
That's all he knows how to do. Got to admire the guy. He gives you 110% all the time out there.
I think the last 6 or 7 games, though, he's been putting about 150% into it. And if Lendl can fight his way back into this second set. Could tell on Jimmy as the match goes to 4 or 5 sets.
Of course, it's going to get a little cooler. It is now about 5:15.
Four aces by Lendl.
30-15.
Lendl seems to have slowed his game down, Tony, as far as walking around, taking more time, a better stroke at the ball.
Something he didn't do yesterday at all.
That's what I was going to say exactly, Ty. We don't see him hit those kind of forehands when he's not being pressed at all.
You think that's caused by bad footwork through nerves?
I think it's nerves for sure. Can't be looking at the ball very well. He's got to really be worried.
We showed you total paid attendance a minute ago. This is people who passed through the gates here at the tennis center. 407,450. That is the largest attendance for any one tournament in the history of this game.
And we salute the USTA and Bill Talbert, the tournament director, and his staff. Marvelous job. Here, you feel that Jimmy is able to rush Lendl, not give him a time to make those big, long swings at the ball. Also exposing him sometime to some slower footwork.
Especially when he moves across to the forehand side. Lendl seems to run a little quicker when running to his backhand than he does to his forehand. Maybe that's because he's leaning towards the backhand, because everybody usually plays it.
Tony, so many times that Connors likes to take the ball on the rise. And maybe that rushes Lendl a little bit more, too.
It does indeed. It gives you less time to recover and get set. And, of course, when Jimmy takes on the rise, he normally hits it with a lot of pace. And if he's got good depth on it, it's going to handcuff you a little bit. And if a player is used to taking a big looping swing at it, of course, it gives you less time.
Something's happening out there right now, because the last 2 games there has to be about 7 or 8 unforced errors.
First serve was a fault.
Summerall with John Newcomb and Tony Trabert. Jimmy Connors won the first set of this men's singles final 6-3. He leads 3-2 and is serving in the second set.
One of the few times that Connors come to the net and not been successful.
Lendl adopted a different tactic off the forehand that time. Instead of going for a clean winner, just put a soft looping shot over, forcing Connors to volley up.
He is slowing things down considerably.
Lendl's gotten something in his eye. You know, he carries sawdust in his pocket. I think sometimes it might get a little bit in your eye.
Getting set up on a lot of short balls, isn't he, by attacking the forehand?
Yep.
Is Lendl trying to over topspin it back, do you think, and that's causing the balls to go short? I mean, if he flattened out a bit more, he may get a little bit more depth on the ball.
I don't think he's confident enough right now to drive through that ball like he was yesterday. And again, it can be part of the way Jimmy Connors is playing. You don't normally see Lendl miss hit many forehands. Not a bad tactic on Lendl's part to try to take advantage of Connors' second serve. If he can get on that forehand and drive it. The wily veteran Jimmy Connors at age 30. Doing some job right now.
40-15.
Arthur Ashe, our Davis Cup captain, who replaced Captain Trabert.
Connors serving at 40-15 second set. He leads 3 games to 2.
Game, Connors.
Ball stayed very low.
Connors leads the second set.
There is Gene Jankowski, who is CBS broadcast group president. And a tennis fan. Lendl just ripped off his 5th ace.
Approximately 106 miles an hour.
And there's our CBS president of sports, Neil Pilson, along with his wife.
15 all.
Jim Rosenfield, also in attendance. We got all of our leaders here. CBS Broadcast Group Executive Vice President Walter Cronkite, of course, is behind him. There's Walter, a real CBS sport.
second time that Lendl has served and volleyed, I believe, Nuke.
40-30.
It's something you think he should do more of?
Well, he better try to do something different, because whatever he's doing now isn't working. At least mix it up a little bit. Come back live. 40-30.
You almost get the feeling that Lendl is boxing himself in at the moment. A little bit unsure about what sort of game plan he should have. A lot of that, of course, is caused by Connor's great play.
Advantage Lendl.
Lendl's first serve has let him down badly in this match thus far. .44% of his first serves, and that is not good.
That one was right in the strike zone.
We'll take another look and watch what happens when you put it in the strike zone. Up high and right down the middle of the court, and Connors popped off that crisp forehand volley. Back live at deuce.
Wow, that only just made the net, didn't it? Crept over. A lot of his second serves have landed very short.
Break point for Connors.
He hit 4 straight balls to Lendl's forehand.
And just not a good shot from Lendl here. Watch where the ball lands. Forehand. That one landed on the service line. Another one landing on the service line, giving Jimmy plenty of time to attack, put the ball where he wants to. Just seems to have lost all confidence in his forehand at this time.
And that's supposed to be the strength. That's good serve. Good time.
That's a game plan that I read in Big Bill Tilden's tennis book many, many years ago. One way that you can attack someone if you feel confident enough, if you've got enough confidence in yourself, is go to their strength, break their strength down, and if you can do that, you got them.
What Vince Lombardi said.
That was his theory.
He must have learned it from Bill Tilden.
Advantage Connors.
Again, break point for Jimmy Connors.
He said if you destroy the leader's confidence, the followers will quit. Connors serving. He won the first game. He leads 5-2. He won the first point, I'm sorry. He leads 5-2 in the second set. He won the first 6-3.
Tony, is that the first backhand passing shot Lendl's made in the match?
To the best of my knowledge, it is. It's the only one I can remember. Connors' last serve was timed at about 102 miles per hour. Lendl's been up around 111.
I think it's the first time I've ever seen him do it.
He tried to do it off a forehand on the second serve, but missed the forehand. He's got to try to vary the game. He's not being successful. Has not been successful thus far.
Double break point for Ivan Lendl.
I think Connors must have been watching the match yesterday with McEnroe and Lendl, because about 4 times so far Lendl has tried that little cross-court dink shot. He was successful with it against McEnroe, but Jimmy's been sitting on it.
Set point for Connors.
Connors, 6-2.
Connors wins the second set, 6-2. He won the first, 6-3.
Connors leads 2 sets to love. Third set, Lendl to serve. Quiet, please.
I just got a dirty look from Jimmy.
You did? Why?
Yep. I don't know whether you saw it, Trey.
Quiet, please.
I think he heard on the TV yesterday that I said I thought Lendl was going to win.
Well, people, you know, see me and say, I don't think he's going to win, or I think Jimmy's going to whatever. And I say, we know more about it than you do. Just, you know, it's just a guess. If we knew that much about it, we'd be in Vegas, put a lot of money on it.
Well, one lady walked up to me before the match and she started going mad at me because I said I thought Lendl was going to win. I said, hey, that's not a personal like or dislike. I was talking about tennis.
I had a guy take a swing at me one time because I gave an incorrect temperature. Neil Pilson. Neil, if you, our president, if you duck just a little bit, we could see Tom Wyman if you're listening. Thank you.
2 handsome gentlemen.
Tom Wyman is the CBS president. Thank you.
No, Nuke, I think the key for Lendl, if he's going to get into this match, is he's going to have to serve better. He's served pretty well in this game, but his very low percentage of first serves in the first 2 sets. 47%.
Again, we talked about power tennis.
30 all.
had better give away that little cross-court dink shot now. I mean, he hasn't... I don't think he's won one of them, and Connors is coming so close to the net that he's got to start coming up with some lobs.
He made one good backhand offensive lob early.
That was in the first game.
Right.
I think he's only done one lob since then, a nice defensive one, which caused Connors to miss the smash.
Break point for Connors. See Lendl quietly standing back behind that baseline. Now Connors has him on the run. And this attempt at the passing shot just catches the tape. Jimmy was right there anyway. Probably could have volleyed into the open court. So back live, break point for Jimmy Connors. First game of the third set. Connors has won the first two, 6-3, 6-2.
That looks more like Lendl.
That was a pretty easy shot then. It wasn't a good approach shot, but it was a good tactic on such an important point. Tremendous amount of pressure on Lendl then.
Rush him if you can. Instant pressure.
It's almost been an early match point.
Lendl broke the first game of the match. Jimmy broke right back, broke him again for a 4-2 lead and won the set 6-3. Lendl's only been able to break Connors once.
Set number 3.
Kathy will be pleased we got her eating that chocolate cake.
No dinner tonight for her.
15 love.
Pat, I'm on your side, though. I don't think you're a big ape, really.
He said gorilla.
That's
Oh,
right.
gorilla?
There's a difference.
Oh, I'll have to think about that.
That was a winner.
That should give Lendl some confidence.
15 all.
Mike Wallace, one of the stars of 60 Minutes, and we remind you that coming up right after the tennis, you'll see 60 Minutes. Mike's been out here a lot, doing a feature on Martina Navratilova, and enjoying the tennis as well. 15 all.
Another good forehand down the line by Lendl. unforced backhand errors, 17 for Lendl, 11 for Connors. Forehand unforced errors, 25 by Lendl. That's supposed to be his big weapon. Only 11 by Connors.
Wow!
Earlier, Newt, ideal time for the offensive lob. Jimmy Connors is closing in so close to the net. Mr. Hunter Delatour, president-elect of the USTA.
He takes over, what, next spring?
March, I believe, yeah. Northern California area. Terrific man. He'll do a good job. Taking some extra time again.
The forehand.
26 unforced errors on the forehand. Connors is taking his time right now because he knows he's got his man in a vice and he doesn't want to let him out. Doesn't want to make any mistakes that he shouldn't make.
Dignitaries from all over the world watching this final. I'll show some of them to you in just a minute. I mean, other than Newcomb and Trabert. Brian Burnett, sir, on the left, and our friend Philippe Chartrier on the right. You play tennis against Philippe, Tony?
First match I ever played in Europe, 1950 in Monte Carlo. I played Philippe. I claim I beat him 6-1, 6-1, and he said it was 9-7 in the third, and I was lucky to win.
We have seen him miss that shot a few times.
Not today, though.
No, that's true.
About the third forehand he's missed like that. Similar position at the moment than we found ourselves at in the second set when the score stood at 2-all. A few testy games, some unforced errors coming from Jimmy Connors, which he hadn't done in the first set, but Lendl couldn't follow through.
Advantage Connors.
Lendl doesn't believe that.
If he does accept it, that's the first ace by Connors.
He's going to have to accept it. I think Connors and Lendl both thought this ball was just wide of the line because Connors did start to walk back.
Jay Snyder in the chair.
It's one of these tough situations in sport where you're losing 6-3, 6-2, and you get a doubtful call on a very important game. You've got to be able to shut it out of your mind.
Yeah, you really can't let it bother you.
It's easy to let it bother you, too, and look for a reason why you might be losing.
You're also in there's Pancho Segura, perhaps the most popular man ever to play pro tennis.
I was going to say a moment ago, Ivan will take another look at this one.
Games are 1-all, third set.
Lendl just barely able to get to it, has to sort of chop at it just to get it back, and Connors makes the volley into the open court. Ivan Lendl feels that, of course, you're playing in America, you're playing against an American in your U.S. championships, and he feels everybody's against him, which really isn't the case.
Don't forget, next week, second week of NFL action. Dallas will be at St. Louis, New Orleans, Chicago, Philadelphia, Cleveland. Doubleheader week for us.
15
Detroit at Los Angeles, San Francisco at Denver, and Washington at Tampa Bay.
That was an angry swing.
Cooled off quite a bit now.
Grin on Lendl's face. He thought this ball was good. Connors didn't play it, which is a mistake when a ball's going to be that close. You ought to swing at it. I'll let you be the judge on the replay as to whether it was good or not. Back live at 15:30. Break point for Connors.
Takes a 2-1 lead in the third set.
And serving at 2-1 in the third. Here's one of the reasons, Pat. 25 unforced errors for Connors thus far, 49, almost double the amount for Ivan Lendl.
Let first serve. Love.
I think Lendl's lost a little spirit, Tony, or is he being beaten into submission at the moment?
I think a combination of both. give Jimmy Connors a lot of credit because he is making Lendl play below Lendl's normal form. And it's because Jimmy's played so well. He's hit the ball consistently. He's hit it with pace and with depth. He's used the whole court, moved him around. And Nuke, I think what you point out earlier is very true. Jimmy played his forehand, which I think surprised him and has broken him down.
40 left.
And that was awful close to just sort of stand and look at. Not even go over and attempt to play.
I guess when you're on a roll, you just keep going. Everything you do turns to gold.
Sometimes when you mishit that ball, as Lendl did that one, it can do some strange things.
Extra spin. That ball jumped up a little higher than normal.
Connors leads 3-1.
Time is running out on Ivan Lendl. Down 2 sets to love and a service break, serving at 1-3 in the third.
Another example of the way that Connors has beaten his man into submission, because Lendl is used to making those big first serves and moving into court for a weak return, but Connors turns it around. He turns it into attack. I'm not sure what the crowd's booing out here. Obviously Lendl thinks it's the line call, but I don't know whether the crowd agrees with Lendl or not.
Lendl is of a frame of mind now, apparently, that anything is close, he thinks he's getting cheated. That is not going to get him in the frame of mind to try to fight his way back into this match.
There may be a few fans, Tony, that wonder about that. Could that happen? And it could not, definitely not happen. I'm 100% positive that his linesmen are not calling them for an American or for a Czech. Calling them as they see them.
Which is really all they can do. Tony, you talked about what Lendl has to do to get back into it. What does Connors have to do at this point?
Just do exactly what he's doing. Don't let down. Don't change a winning game plan. Also, Jimmy has a tendency sometimes, at his own admission, to get so eager that he overplays some, rushes a little too much.
Deuce.
remember the last 28 years of the Nationals and what became the U.S. Open, 18 titles have been won by players from countries other than the United States. And they're all won here in the United States, so I'll be getting bad calls.
This broadcast, telecast, of course, is going all around the world. Many, many different countries.
Advantage Lendl.
It's even going live to Australia, if you could imagine that a pitcher could travel that far.
And
remember,
Japan, of course, is carrying. Excuse me, Tony.
I was just going to say that. I remember hearing a couple games of that description in Japanese. I think that's what we heard. I mean, I know it was Japanese. I didn't understand it, that's all.
Game to Lendl. Connors leads 3-2 in the third set.
Quiet, please.
Connors leads 3-2 third set. He won the first one 6-3, the second 6-2. This is the men's singles final. Ivan Lendl against Jimmy Connors. Pat Summerall with Tony Trabert and John Newcomb.
First serve percentage, excuse me, Patrick, 68%, and Lendl's still below 50%, 46. That is not good. That's been one of his problems. His biggest problem has been Jimmy Connors. Another look. A short volley here by Lendl pays off. Connors just barely gets to it.
Forced to play a single-handed backhand. That's not fair.
There were some reports yesterday, you might have heard us say, that Jimmy had back cramps, leg cramps. Get some information that he felt that he took an iron tablet too soon after he played. Cramp up a little bit. But I talked to him last night, and he said everything was fine. He was ready to go.
And I talked to Dr. Gary Wadler, who administered to him, Jimmy, and told him, get some fluids in now. Don't wait during the match.
This is where Jimmy has to really tighten up his concentration. The plane flew over, the first one of the day. I guess the wind must have changed just as he was playing that shot, and I think it upset his concentration, forced that error.
The last 3 days have been very quiet as far as the planes are concerned until that one.
15-30.
That's his second ace. 15-30. Both of them been almost in the same spot, right down the middle line. Said the call was correct. That would be ace number 3.
It's so far out.
All. Obviously, Lendl very unhappy with the call.
Someone yelled out to Lendl, why don't you go home? And that was the reason for the boos. And then some lady just followed that with, stay here, Ivan, also known as Ivan. And that's the reason for the applause.
The crowd were booing the fan that yelled out.
That's right.
Not Lendl.
That's right.
40.
First double faults. Wojtek Fibak, who's
That's it.
Lendl's advisor.
Yeah, Lendl keeps looking at him over in the stand and has increasingly done so in the last set and a half.
Great point for Lendl.
Lendl breaks.
Games are 3-all in the third set.
Lights are on now in the stadium, the National Tennis Center. Louis Armstrong Stadium. Double fault and a bad one. They're all bad, but that one was not even close. That's
a
his
miss
third.
hit. You mishit that one. You do that once in a while when you're trying to get spin on it. You catch an edge of the racket and off she goes.
There's some planes leaving LaGuardia, and that one went in a different direction.
15-30. A winner.
30-all.
Lendl's broken Connors twice. Connors has broken Lendl 5 times thus far in this match.
40-30.
Apart from the first set, Tony, I don't think the standard has been really high.
Jimmy's played well, but I'm disappointed in the quality of the tennis, particularly by Lendl. Again, you can give a lot of that credit to Jimmy Connors, but Lendl has not played well, even though Jimmy is hitting the ball extremely well.
Like that. Can't help but feel that Lendl should be going more down the line on this shot. But once again, Jimmy's setting it up, playing wide to Lendl's forehand, getting the ball short on his own backhand, and then he can either go down the line or come sharply back across court for the winner as he did then.
We come back at deuce. Ace, number 8.
Advantage Lendl.
Because if you look at the Masters final in January, Vitas Gerulaitis had Lendl down 2-0 in a service break. Lendl came back and won it in 5 sets.
That one missed. Match exactly 2 hours old now.
Advantage Lendl.
Lendl leads 4-3 in the third set. Connors serving 3-4 third set. Won the first 2 sets. Again, the lights are on. in the stadium now. Difficult to see at the moment, but in just a few minutes the lights will take over. Packed house.
Long. 30 love.
Sort of the way it's been going for Ivan Lendl. That was a very simple shot. Just trying to block it down the line deep and get into the volleying position and hit it well over the baseline.
.30-15. .40-15.
Guy's relentless, isn't he? Keep the pressure on you. Jimmy's very good at controlling the pace of a match, whether he's serving or receiving. When he's receiving, he can look down and fiddle the strings of his racket and make the server wait if he wants to.
And pigeon comes in. I mean, a real one.
For a minute, I thought he was going to come get us.
Can't find a seat.
Doesn't have a ticket.
Only the second double fault by Connors. Patty Connors in the middle.
I think what Patty Connors is looking a little pensive about is the fact that Connors has gone off the boil just a little bit. Also, Lendl is coming up with a couple of better shots than he has previously in the match. Instead of trying to dink that one across court, he drove it across there.
It's deuce.
Also, Jimmy's approach shot wasn't as deep as they have been earlier in the match. Gave Lendl more time to play the shot. Crucial games right now.
Connors has been in that 41 times and won 25. Pretty good percentage.
I think what happened in the middle of this set, Connors leading 2-11 and 3-1. Looked like the match was virtually over. He played a bad game, let Lendl back into the set.
New ball.
Good crisp volley by Jimmy Connors. Gets him even at 4-all.
While we have a second, let's check out some more football scores. Green Bay 35, the Rams 23, Detroit 17, Chicago 10, Minnesota 17, Tampa Bay 10, Houston 27, Cincinnati 6. That's a little different from what we heard earlier. Overtime, Washington 37, Philadelphia 34, St. Louis 21, New Orleans 7, and Buffalo beat Kansas City 14-9.
Here's another look. Connor's ball just ticked the top of the net. Lendl's attempt down the line is very high. No way he can recover, and Jimmy blocks into the open court. Back live at 15. Now 15 all.
AFC scores you saw. Atlanta beat the Giants 16-14. San Francisco, third quarter, over the Los Angeles Raiders 14-13.
All 15 all third set. Connors has won the first two.
30-15.
Most of Lendl's second serves have been kicking back into Connors' backhand side.
Miami leads the Jets just across the way over here, 31-14. Cleveland 21, Seattle 7, third quarter. Talk about a day for sports in New York City. The Giants at Falcons. This classic. The Yankees are at home. A lot of sports going on around town.
It's going to take us a while to get back into Manhattan.
I'm no hurry. We've been here. So I don't remember where I live anyway.
Big chance for Jimmy Connors to get a service break and serve for the match.
Well, a good shot he got back that time, though, because he had to go to one hand on the two-hander. He was caught in the wrong foot, and he got it back so well that Lendl made an error once again. Think Jimmy will try and chip and charge here?
I don't think so.
I don't either.
You're right.
That could have been matched right there if that ball had gone over, Tony.
Yeah, Lendl was standing there, but Lendl's had Jimmy on the move these last few points. Getting interesting now.
4-all third set. Deuce. Connors up 2 sets to love. Patty's serious about this.
Advantage Connors.
Again, break point. Here's where Jimmy Connors has been doing some of the running, has taken his time now, and he's making Lendl wait.
Deuce.
Connors doesn't like the call.
9 aces by Lendl. more tennis action after this word from your local station. Connors serving 4-5 in the third.
Quite a shot.
Wow, where did that one come from? He had to be about 10 feet behind the baseline when he struck that. Great shot to start the game off with.
Again, he slows down the tempo.
Keeps lifting his legs like he's just a little bit leg weary.
Done a lot of running.
Talking about Connors now.
Yeah.
Miss hit on the return by Lendl.
30 love.
Nuke, I know you won this championship twice. Tony won it twice. You know who the only man is to ever win it twice without losing a set?
Is he ugly?
Yeah. Is he sitting next to me?
Does he lead the same early nightlife that you do?
Yes. Tony Trabert.
Weak fields back in those days. You know, it's been all Jimmy Connors in this match, as you see Patty looking on Patty Connors. But I have a feeling, excuse me, that if Lendl somehow wins this set, things can be very, very different.
You're saying that 8 years in age difference might have its effect.
It might have its effect, and it could also have an effect psychologically on Lendl getting into the match when he's really been steamrolled up to this point. Jimmy sort of let him back in this third set. He led it 3-1 and played a poor game for him. Pretty face. Looks better when she's smiling.
The one on the left.
Yes, of course. Tension is mounting.
Something is happening out there with Connors. He's been acting strange the last 4 or 5 games. He was really pumped up at the end of the second set, and he's been strangely quiet the last 5 games.
Came up with a good serve and a big shot.
Deuce.
Temperature has dropped considerably down to 80 degrees, 5 degrees. Humidity remains about the same. A little bit of a breeze, not much. The cooler it gets, if we're correct, the more it would benefit Connors.
Connors trying to hold serve and get even at 5 all in the third set.
You'll see Connors coming in from a deep position in the court, but he did make a pretty good approach.
He's just on the baseline and on the way in. And Lendl had enough time to get set up properly and made a terrific backhand down the line. We come back at deuce. You don't seldom see someone try to make an approach shot, making contact with the ball as you're standing near the baseline. It's just too great a distance for the ball to travel and for you to get into a good volleying position.
For the second time, it is set point Lendl.
Set Lendl 6-4.
Let's start off with Lendl serving the first game of set number 4.
Please remain in your seats, ladies and gentlemen.
And singles final.
Fourth set, Lendl to serve.
Pat, I watched Jimmy real close during that last game, just concentrating on his legs all the time, and I really think that he's starting to tighten up in his thigh muscles, causing some of those errors that he's making. It's either his thigh muscles or his lower back.
Psychologically, you would think Lendl would be sky high right now.
He doesn't look it, though, does he?
No, he doesn't.
Terrific approach shot. Made the volley easy.
Below 30.
Came in well on this shot, and Lendl, though, on the passing shot, he is being forced, but the passing shot went nowhere. It went straight back down the middle of the court.
Jimmy's ball landed about 2 feet from the baseline with pace.
What a great return. And it's triple break point for Connors.
I think that return took him totally by surprise. He didn't expect that back.
He's used to just walking in after those big serves and getting a weak return, dominating the play from there.
Number 10 by Lendl.
30-40.
Approximately 111 miles per hour. 78 feet baseline to baseline, so it gets to you in a hurry. To you and by you.
Point of the match.
What a super rally, and this time Lendl was looking for the great shot from Connors. It almost caught him as you see him come on this great drive down the line. Jimmy really made him play a tough volley here. That's one that you could spoon up, but he played it firm. I don't know how Jimmy reached that ball, let alone get it back in such a good position.
How about the great volley by Lendl?
It was great anticipation to follow through on his volley.
And it's deuce.
The first lob that Lendl has put up for some time, and it almost caught Connors by surprise.
Again, break point.
Look at this. Connors has been to the net 48 times, won 28 points. Lendl only 10 times, won 5 points.
Get an idea who's doing the tacking.
The first game of the fourth set.
Ooh.
15 love.
Almost got the let court judge with that one. Lendl's percentage of serves coming up some to 51%. Jimmy's at 69%. As Lendl goes after the first serve, he's trying to hit aces and hit it harder than Connors. But Jimmy does change the pace some. He spins a lot more the first serves.
You should be trying to achieve about 70% of first serves into play them.
30 love.
Again, a miss hit off a fairly easy ball. Lendl has committed 40 unforced errors thus far off the forehand. Shot that time by Ivan Lendl.
40-15.
Connors leads 40-15, serving at 1 with the service break. Getting close to 7 o'clock, Patrick.
I thought at one time we'd be doing a lot of filling. Enjoying it. And of course 60 minutes comes up as soon as the tennis is over. It looks now like we won't make it off at our prescribed time of 7 o'clock Eastern time.
Jimmy doesn't believe it. Martina Navratilova. That was the 11th ace for Lendl. much long. Smart tactic by Connors. I think if he does it a few times, that'll work against Lendl. Plus, it'll put more pressure on Lendl's second serve.
Game to Lendl, and it's 2-1 Connors in the fourth set.
As they say, let it play. Just enjoy it again. You know, at the end of that point, Jimmy put his hands up in the air, and he just put his hands over his head. Lendl is starting to make Connors work. Doing a lot of running in the last 6 games.
The doctor that has been watching Jimmy closely and talking and taking more fluids last night and today walked by during the commercial and sort of made the motion. That is Bill Norris, the trainer. The doctor, Wobbler, sort of made the motion that if he's drinking fluids because he's starting to perspire more and losing that liquid, and that's what makes it clean.
Well, he really stayed down on that backhand passing shot. He ripped it. Have a look at Lendl playing this shot. Backhand pass. Coming in, Lendl stays right down on the ball low. Kept his knees bent all the time. Had good body weight going into the shot. 15-30. For Lendl. He is starting to look more like he did yesterday. He's starting to stroke the ball the best he has in the match so far at this time. I don't think Jimmy can play any better than he did in the first set and a half. He can play as well, but I don't think he can play any better. The first time in the match, Lendl has showed any emotion whatsoever. Mike Wallace talking to the tournament directly, Bill Talbot. 60 minutes will follow tennis. As will the whole schedule. We just slided backwards, especially on the West Coast, so you'll see that the time to get your custom. 3-2. Fourth set. striking the ball freely from the back of the court for 2 yards. Tremendous forehand down the line off Connors' cross-court backhand, and Jimmy right up the court. Now he could have kicked this ball and just moved into the net, and instead he said, maybe should have won it. Those of you who might have just joined us, the second just for 60 minutes, it'll come right after 10. This is the final of the U.S. Open of 1982. Now, Lendl making Connors do more and more of the running. He's going to take a peek. He's not ready to start yet, so he's taking a little stroll. 15:30. It's 30 all.
30 all.
12 aces by Lendl. He's almost been on court now for about 3 hours, and many of the rallies have been very brutalizing. They've been hit so hard from the baseline. Break point for Connors. There's only a second effort from Connors here that got him over that ball, because it was a good passing shot from Lendl.
Again, to Lendl waiting to serve, and Jimmy's taking his time. 12 aces for Lendl, 3 for Connors.
In the court change, Jimmy drank a lot of water, also poured a cup of water over his head to cool himself down a little bit.
Times at the net, you see. Excuse me, Trey. 58, 35 points, 1 for Connors. Lendl's been there 12 times, won 5 points.
It's not many times the net on a hard surface when you're midway through the 4th set. Particularly when you serve and have ground strokes like Lendl does.
15 all.
You know, it's amazing. The set scores 6-3, 6-2, 6-4, and 3-2, and that's taken 3 hours to play that much when they're hitting the ball this hard. Could take that long if you had 2 people just pushing the ball back out there, and they're really going after it.
Sort of loose kind kind of return by Lendl. This is when you want to really turn the screw and really get it going.
(45-28) Miami over the Jets over at Chase Stadium with about 3 minutes to go.
Jimmy's got Lendl on the string. He's the aggressor right here. And you see
Lendl's doing all the running. Jimmy gets in on a short ball here and drives it, let's see, just inside the sideline.
Yeah, that was a great shot from Connors then, because Lendl's ball had a lot of topspin on it, was moving around.
40-15.
Good anticipation at the net by Jimmy Connors. Jimmy chased that last shot.
He's up a service break, and that ball was so far away he was going to do a good job just to get his racket on it. He might start thinking about conserving a little energy here. All he has to do is hold his serve 2 more times, and he's the champion.
Just had words because the smash by Lendl came very close to Jimmy Connors.
And of course, Lendl has that reputation. He's knocked some folks down.
Well, Jimmy's wagging a finger at Lendl, but Lendl refuses to look at him.
You catch that one?
Read lips.
That might be just enough adrenaline pump for Jimmy, just carrying right on through.
never forget seeing Lendl hit Gerolitis in the head last January at Madison Square Garden.
But that was with a short forehand. Not a bad play to go at the person at the net like that when it's a short ball, but this was a different situation. He didn't really come that close to him, but as much closer it might have been. Got some great talent sitting in that corner behind where Jimmy's returning serve now. And the all-time greats, Fred Perry, Don Budge, Frankie Parker, Althea Gibson,
Buddy Satius,
Lee Victor.
Came to Lendl. Connors leads 4-3 in the fourth.
Connors lead.
Fault.
Shot, Tony, that I think he really should have put up a high defensive lob. It was virtually no chance to make the passing shot.
And also, I think Lendl makes the mistake, as you mentioned earlier, going back cross-court with his forehand into the two-handed side of Jimmy Connors. I think it's a better shot than his one-hander. Times at the net and points won. Connors been in there 62 times and won 38. Lendl's gone in 15 times and won 8 of them.
To remind our stations along the line that on the next court change, we'll give you a station break. 15 left.
Boy, Jimmy really covered that forehand nicely coming in, meaning that he rolled the ball just enough to bring it down real deep in the court.
Match exactly 3 hours old now. Connors won the first set 6-3, the second 6-2. Lendl 6-4 in the third, and it's 4-3 Connors in the fourth. And he's serving at 30 love. Just out.
Humming. Connors bouncing up and down, put the one finger up, so I need one more game. He'd like to get it right here. Misses Jimmy Connors.
Trying to stay calm.
Impossible.
This is Connors at his best, running for this shot. Looked like you can see him standing up like that. Jimmy loves to play to this crowd. He knows that pumps him up when he gets really excited and carried away. It's also got to be a bit of a downer on his opponent.
15 all.
That's the best way to answer the crowd getting pumped up, is to come up with an ace.
13 aces. Connors didn't like the call. That's history.
Just ripped right through the line, didn't it? Almost took the line with it.
Lendl did that an awful lot of times against John McEnroe. He has not been that successful in this match today with that shot.
He got a hand at the Lendl in this game after that first point, trailing 2-1. One go came away from losing the match. Would have been an awful temptation to just sort of say, oh boy, there's too much against me. Let's come back with 2 aces and a winner.
That was his 14th ace.
And that was 105 miles an hour approximately on that last serve. When we come back, Connors will be serving for the match at 5-4.
Pat Summerall with Tony Trabert and John Newcomb and Jimmy Connors and Ivan Lendl. Men's singles final. Connors leads 5-4 in the 4th set. He leads 2-1, and he'll be serving. Lendl out quickly and out first.
In the entire match, Connors has made 23 unforced errors on the forehand, 24 in the backhand, for a total of 47. Lendl's made 67 unforced errors. And here we go. Showtime.
President-elect of the USTA, Hunter Delatour. Love 15.
Lendl about 6 to 8 feet behind the baseline. Return the serve.
Recovery from Connors, because Lendl thumped that forehand into the backhand corner. Not only did he hit it hard, but he hit it deep.
15 all.
Two more points.
This one game.
If Lendl's going to stand back that far behind the baseline, I think Jimmy's smart to come in, but I'm surprised that Lendl wouldn't be topping the return to try to get it low. If you block it with a little underspin, it stays up.
30-15.
I think he was surprised that Connors came in twice already out of 3 points.
He better stay alert, because I think he might try to do it again.
place apart if Connors wins this one. They love him in New York.
Quiet, please.
He went for it.
For the fourth time, Jimmy Connors has won the U.S. Open. The singles champion. Coming off his victory at Wimbledon, there might be some adjustment in the rankings.
He is definitely #1 on the ATP computer. Lendl is 2.
Watch the incoming USTA president, Hunter Delator, and his reaction. He was watching. Some fluid. We'll have a word with Jimmy Connors. John Tesh is down courtside.